Hello, my name is Maggie Anderson and my partner is Hannah Kane. We did a literary review assessing the effectiveness of capture methods for reticulated flatwoods salamanders. A common problem in wildlife research is selecting a trapping method that is both effective at capturing an individual and being low cost and low risk of injury to the animal. We looked at known capture methods for amphibians and ran a cost benefit analysis to determine the best method for surveying reticulated flatwood salamanders. We did this because salamander populations in general are on a decline, but the reticulated flatwood salamander is a particular concern as it is federally listed as endangered. It's important to monitor these species because to check for abundance, reproductive status, general seasonal activity, and presence versus absence of the species in particular locations. There are currently several different techniques used to capture salamanders, but most of them are a combination of expensive, ineffective, and labor intensive to install. So we did a review of minnow traps, dip netting, leaf litter bags, and drift fences to find the best method.
The first method we looked at were minnow traps. These are traps that consist of two funnel-shaped entrances at either end of a mesh box or cylinder. These allow salamanders to swim into the cage, but not out, and can be made of plastic or metal material. Some pros of this technique are that they are difficult for salamanders to escape from and can be baited to attract specific species. Some cons are that if the minnow traps are misused, such as being completely submerged, the salamanders can drown before the traps are checked, or their skin can be damaged on the steel. The second method we reviewed was dip netting. This is an active method of collection involving sweeping a small mesh net through a water column or a submerged leaf litter to capture adults or larvae. Some pros of this method are that capture rates for larvae are significantly higher than any of the other passive techniques, and they are a cheap, cost-effective method. However, the downside of dip netting is that it is highly labor intensive, making it time consuming to sample a large number of sites, and it can be destructive to the environment at the sample site. The third method we reviewed were leaf litter bags. These consist of mesh netting filled with leaf litter to attract salamanders and can be weighted to sit at the bottom of streams. They can be a variety of sizes and placed at different depths depending on where you are wanting to sample. Some pros are that this is an extremely efficient method for measuring presence or absence, and they are easy to deploy without damaging the environment. The fourth and final method we reviewed were drift fences in conjunction with pitfall traps. This is a highly common method that is great for capturing migrating or cryptic species. However, its downfalls are that it can be extremely time restricting, expensive, and labor intensive. There is also a high risk of mortality for the salamander due to overheating and predation when not properly monitored.
While fences mixed with pitfall traps is arguably the most common method, mortality rates can be extremely high with this method. It is also expensive and labor intensive, which is why we ruled it out as one of the best methods. Dip netting is a great active method because it thoroughly captures individuals in an area while being cost effective, but it is also highly labor intensive and so is not selected as the most optimal capture method in this review. We have concluded that the leaf litter bags were the most optimal in terms of success, physical cost, and risk of injury to the individuals. Although it cannot monitor trends in abundance over years, it is the preferred passive method for checking for presence versus absence in an area. It is highly effective at measuring those presence and absence, as well as being cost effective, easy to deploy, and minimal risk to the individual so they cannot become trapped inside. Therefore, leaf litter bags are the best method to capture reticulated flatwood salamanders. We hope that you enjoyed our presentation and look forward to answering any questions you may have.